Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Coming to you from Ojai, California today, the Chumash region. And I am so excited to introduce to you this morning my guest, Ellie Silesky, who, oh, good, there she is. She's just joining right on time, which is so great. Ellie works at the Holocaust Center for Humanity in Seattle, Washington. And let's see, there we go, which is so great. Can't wait for you to meet Ellie and find out all of the incredible things that the Holocaust Center in Seattle is doing. So let's see, are you able to join? Great, there you are.
Hi, Beth. Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you just great.
Good
How are you this morning?
morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Oh, this is great. So I see people are joining. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on to meet Ellie. This is fabulous. Please, while you're coming on, follow us, hit like, all those things. We're so excited to meet your community and to share our communities with each other. This is just great. So Wednesday morning, Ellie Silesky, what does your day look like? What's on tap for you?
Well, it has been a great morning so far. It's very, very beautiful over here in Seattle, which is where I'm located. So we're very lucky with some nicer weather. And today is actually Give Big, which is Washington State's largest giving day. So it's similar to Giving Tuesday, but it's kind of locally based and encourages local community members and supporters to give to nonprofits in the area. So our nonprofit, the Holocaust Center for Humanity, is participating as we do every year. And we have a lofty goal this year of, we actually upped it a bit to 55,000. So we are very, very close to our goal.
I know. Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so
Thank you.
You launched yesterday, right? The campaign
Yeah.
launched yesterday. And is it really only just 24 hours?
Yeah, so it actually used to be one full day of giving, and now they started this last year in response to COVID that it's 2 full days. So it started yesterday morning and then it ends this evening. And so we're so grateful to our community and our supporters because we surpassed our kind of first goal, and now we have a few additional matches for supporters to take advantage of, and we're pushing through to get to the 55,000. So we're so excited.
That's wonderful. And of course, even after Big Tuesday or Big Wednesday, what do you guys call it? You call it
Giving Tuesday?
No, today.
Give Big.
Give Big. Okay, so even after Give Big, there's no question that everyone can always go to the Holocaust Center for Humanity and donate.
Absolutely. Yes.
Today, but if you can, today's the day for Give Big, and that's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys. I'm sure. I mean, the day is young right now. You will get to your goal.
We're hopeful, and I will also say that this year we're raising money for our teacher training programs and our educator professional development. So these are some pretty important programs to our center for teachers to be well equipped to teach these important lessons about the Holocaust, which is why we're talking today. So
exactly. So let's talk about that, because I find your website to be phenomenal. You guys are so inclusive and you have so many resources, not just for teachers, but for anybody who wants to really engage in the conversation about Holocaust awareness. So let's tell everybody what's available on the website, and even if you want to dive into some of the more detailed aspects of these teacher trainings, and just share with us, like, what are some of the things that you learned that you weren't even aware of, or what are some great points of view that other people can carry forward?
Yeah, so for those who will take a look at our website, which is holocaustcenterseattle.org, they will find a lot of information, and I will direct people to a few specific elements. We have a Teach tab, which has a drop-down menu with a lot of educator curriculum, and in particular, we have this curriculum called Best Practices. And so the Holocaust Center in 2019 was a part of passing Senate Bill 5612, which strongly encourages schools across Washington state to teach the lessons of the Holocaust. And our center is involved in really in that rollout and making those connections with different schools across the state to make sure that these lessons are being taught and that they're being taught in a quality way that really can reach the students and the unique learning environments of each of those schools. And so we have this curriculum called Best Practices, which really walks teachers through step by step on how to teach the lessons of the Holocaust, and it's age specific and grade specific too. And so that really sets up the classrooms for success. And as far as some community opportunities, we have a weekly Lunch and Learn series, which you'll find on our website also. And so that's every Tuesday at 12, where we feature local Holocaust survivors, their descendants, one of which was Jessica Fenton, who was featured on your program just last month. And
It was awesome.
yeah, she's wonderful. And we also have scholars and subject matter experts who are not just based in the area, but all across the country. And so that's really something that we've been able to amp up during COVID in particular, of being able to reach our community with some quality Holocaust education and educational materials that even span beyond the Holocaust, which is really important to our center.
I'm sure. You know, I think a lot of questions that I've been getting lately from people, and I'd love to know how you guys define the differences, because April was Genocide Awareness Month, and any genocide of any kind is unacceptable, period. And yet we do find that the Holocaust in particular is unique in of itself. It was a Jewish experience also. And how are you teaching the differences between the genocides, and what is the value in distinguishing the different kinds?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we really stress, and this is a part of our mission statement and our vision, is using the lessons of the Holocaust as a vehicle to teach about modern and also past genocide and current genocide, injustice and bigotry and hate, and how really these lessons from the Holocaust are and kind of inform how important it is for young people in particular, and community members of all ages, to be able to recognize injustice and take action against it. And so we really use Holocaust-specific educational materials, and then also encourage teachers to be able to kind of open these questions to their students of what are some similar themes that they're seeing now, and what are some things that they're thinking about and that they're talking about with their friends online, that they're talking about with their families at home. And it's really these lessons are really just a vehicle for kind of broader conversations around hate and intolerance and indifference, and questioning how we can stand up against it. So yeah, I would say that we focusing on the Holocaust, while also definitely teaching about kind of other ways that even like other countries were involved in, and other like corporate involvement in the Holocaust, and being able to kind of bridge all these elements to really let students know that, you know, this didn't happen in a silo, and that no genocide does.
Right. No, it certainly doesn't. And it doesn't happen overnight at all. You know, so many of these are all state sponsored, and it takes years to actually have this kind of slow dripping effect of rights being taken away and so forth, and human rights It's kind of extraordinary. What are some things that you encourage students in particular, but really anybody, not, it doesn't have to be students, but what are some actionable things that people can do? What are actions that you're encouraging people to take? Because it's easy for both of us to talk about, we must denounce, we must not be complicit, we must take action. Well, okay, so what are the actions that people can take?
That's a great question. And you're catching me at a good time because last week I had the privilege of going over to Spokane, Washington, which is located on the eastern side of Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And I was interviewing teachers and students over in Spokane to kind of just hear from them on how our lessons have impacted their classrooms and their lives in different ways. And so that was one of the questions I was asking some of these students because like what, it's all good to kind of do this, to have these educational materials, but like, what's the ripple effect in students' lives, in their classrooms and hallways and in their communities? And something that is kind of like a big, I guess like a motto of ours is choosing to be an upstander, that there's always an opportunity to be an upstander. And we stress the importance of not being a bystander. Mm-hmm. And so some of the things that students were telling me of how that looks like in their lives is, a lot of students are on different social media platforms, and a lot of them are engaging online, and they're seeing messages online that are either bullying or hateful messages, and being an upstander to them is saying something and engaging in a conversation with that person and which is something that I really appreciated hearing, is that one of the students said that, for her, being an upstander means not just kind of like saying, not just commenting online of like, hey, that what you said kind of hurt me, or that was something that's kind of hateful, but rather taking it even further than that and opening a door for conversation of, hey, like, where is that coming from? Why did you say that? What can we do to kind of like just kind of talk out where you're coming from and why you feel that way? And I just really appreciated the kind of conversation piece involved of not just sort of like calling something out, but like really getting to know like, where's that coming from? And there isn't always an opportunity for that, but that student was talking about how, especially when it comes to peers of hers, how she feels a responsibility to make sure that she's standing up to bullying in any form in her school, and that can look very different, but that she tries to be able to have a conversation.
Sure. That's wonderful. And it's brave,
Yeah, very brave.
We have to take this moment. There's this split second that happens of getting defensive and getting hurt, of course. And it's not that you shouldn't feel hurt. Someone's doing something that's not right, that is mean, that is ostracizing. It hurts. But can we actually take that hurt and actually use it for the better? Can we be the person who helps the other person understand that we could actually have a conversation about this? And so if there's a way that we can denounce what they're doing in a way that they can hear it, as opposed to them then feeling defensive and covering up, and because so much of it to me is just ignorance. It's lack of education, it's ignorance, it's not really getting to know the other human being.
Yeah, absolutely. And we learn from these lessons the danger of dehumanization and of othering people. And so it is so inspiring to see these young students who are, like, middle school and high school is really hard, and they're deciding to, stand up for something that doesn't feel right to them. They're hearing something being said about someone that they care about, or a community that they care about, and they're saying, you know what, no, like, I'm gonna stand up against this, and standing up for for justice. And, you know, we really let them know that it's these small actions that do make a difference and that ripple through the community. And these are our next leaders. And so,
Yes, they are.
yeah, so we, you know, teaching students at the age that they're in of, you know, taking those actions now is crucial.
Absolutely. I want to just encourage everybody who has joined us here on IGTV. Thanks, you guys, for coming. And please follow us. Please hit like, share, all those wonderful things. But if you have any questions for Ellie, feel free to put them in the chat here, and I'll be happy to ask Ellie whatever's on your mind. How did you become involved in the Holocaust Center for Humanity in the first place?
So I am local to the area. I grew up in the suburbs of Seattle, and I actually grew up going to the local Jewish schools here, and I had never heard of the Holocaust Center. And the Holocaust Center has been around since 1989, and we were started by local Holocaust survivors in the area who were seeing a lot of anti-Semitism in the area, and you know, we're interested in kind of offering a space for our community to learn the important lessons from the Holocaust, and so, and in particular, their experiences. And following undergrad, I was working at a nonprofit in Chicago, actually, and I really loved working for a nonprofit, and I wanted to be involved in a nonprofit here in the Seattle area. And I went to graduate school, and then I came back, and I reached out to a few people in my networks who were familiar with different nonprofit leaders in the area. And I was connected right away with Dee Simon, who is our executive director here at the Holocaust Center. And we had a meeting, and it was funny because before going into that meeting, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I don't know how I would feel working at like a Holocaust Center, because it sounded so heavy and so depressing, or so, like a space that I didn't know if I could see myself being in, especially because I'm very, you know, I try to be very optimistic, and then I got there and I had the meeting, and I thought, oh my goodness, I need to be a part of this space. And it's our Holocaust Center is just the most uplifting, inspiring place. And I have like the gift really of being able to talk to our community members and supporters and teachers and students every day, to hear how they are taking action, to hear how they are understanding these lessons, and hearing how they're taking responsibility for bettering their communities. And that is just like the most inspiring.
Can you share some stories? What are some things that people are doing?
Yeah, well, so I've had the opportunity to talk recently with a lot of our community members and supporters because of Give Big. So I was making a bunch of calls yesterday to some of our donors. And, you know, a lot of people are reflecting on, for example, like listening or watching our Lunch and Learn series every Tuesday, and how that's an opportunity for them to plug into really important educational content that spans, like I said, beyond the Holocaust, and really gets people thinking about the role that they have in bettering our community, and the importance of education in particular. Of, you know, we're lifelong learners, and it's important to plug into different educational opportunities when we can. And so a lot of people are kind of reflecting on how they're really grateful to our center for being able to offer a regular opportunity for community members to plug in, and that they can learn from some of our speakers. And so, for example, a speaker that we had a few weeks ago, we did this series on America and the Holocaust, and how the United States' role in during the Holocaust and also before the Holocaust. And so that was one of my favorite series, because I actually learned a lot about the role of the role of the United States in kind of informing a lot of racial policy that became implemented by Hitler's Nazi Germany. They came over to the antebellum South here to take a look at what we were doing in our southern states, and kind of took a note from our Jim Crow laws and took it over to Germany to really inform the policy that and the racial laws over there. And so that to me was, like it's just really incredible to kind of to learn about like what role our country had in, and what role we continue to have in so many ways. Yeah, so that's like one of our speakers who we had, who a few people I talked to were reflecting on kind of just amazement at not knowing that history. And I definitely didn't know it either before learning about it.
No, that's terrible. That's unbelievably horrible. And even without going too much into the whole refugee crisis, then how few refugees they were allowing to come into the country, how complicated they made it. I was very happy to see yesterday that President Biden did actually change the number. And so I think the new number now is 65,000. I should do a little fact checking before I actually see the number on Instagram. But I was certainly, it's never enough, but it was definitely moving the needle, right?
Yeah.
And helping people who are truly seeking asylum. People don't leave their homelands because they want to. Come on,
Yeah.
People leave their homelands because there's duress.
Yeah. And we actually at the Holocaust Center, we have a museum space, and the way that we organize our museum is kind of taking people through how Jews living in Germany were very integrated into German life. They were Germans and Jews, just as we're Americans and Jews, and then we kind of go through kind of this changing world and pre-war sort of this sentiment and othering that sort of led to different policy that started to be implemented, which eventually led to the Holocaust. And before we kind of get over to the camps and ghettos, which a lot of people think of when they do think of the Holocaust, we have a section in the museum particularly about how when the Jews were in need, how the world was closing its borders, and how the importance of countries, the importance of like the role other countries play in asylum seekers and refugees. And, we really take that opportunity to have students reflect on, like, what are we hearing now? What are we seeing now? And what role does the United States have to play? And always bringing those lessons back to what's going on in our country and how we have choices.
Yes, we absolutely do have choices. One of the things that I think is so impressive about your museum is this educational component, that you have the ability to actually reach students who don't even know what the Holocaust is. They don't even know that it existed. And, yesterday we put a little quiz in my story about, just asking people, are you aware of how many states get federal funding or state funding to teach Holocaust awareness? And the number is just shockingly low.
What was it?
I think it's 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's, I could actually even pull up and tell you exactly which states if I can. Oh, geez.
And while you do that, I'll say that
it's 18 states. And,
wow.
And Washington is actually not one of the states that requires Holocaust education. So that you are offering it in a state that doesn't require it is certainly to be commended. And just know that, especially today on Give Big, the day of Give Big, the monies that you're raising ensure that Holocaust education is being taught.
Yeah.
it's going towards something amazing. Do you guys have any, and I want to hear your comments about what I'm saying, but do you guys have any plans to help change that in the state of Washington?
Yeah, so like I said, in 2019, we were part of passing Senate Bill 5612, which the language is that it strongly recommends Holocaust education in all Washington state schools. But as you know, that does not mean it's required. And so we are now also, we're working towards having Holocaust education required. And since the passing of Senate Bill 5612, it's been incredible to see how our partnerships with school districts across the state and our ability to reach students has just like it's just blossomed. We've built the most incredible partnerships, and with the hard work of one of my colleagues, Paul Regelberg, he's a former educator in Washington State, and he has been instrumental to building these partnerships with different school districts to be able to get these lessons in schools, and he's made great strides towards that. And so without even having Holocaust education be required by the state, we've already seen how far we can go with building these partnerships, even though it's not quote unquote required, but that our Washington state educators and administrators and superintendents are seeing how important these lessons are and want to get them into the classrooms.
What do you think their resistance is?
I honestly don't think there's too much resistance beyond kind of like the capacity of educators. I think that there's, educators have been doing a lot of lesson plans for a while, and so kind of like being able to share the importance of this, and also like our role as the Holocaust Center is making it as easy as possible for teachers to be able to implement these lessons, which is some feedback that I heard when I was in Spokane last week, that a lot of teachers were sharing how it has been so easy for them to take these best practices that we have on our website and be able to develop a curriculum that fits the needs of their classrooms in 4 to 7 to 12-week periods. And so I think that once we make those contacts and once we kind of share how easy it is for schools to start getting these lessons in the classroom, there's a lot more there's an open and willingness to kind of see how that can happen.
Sure. What is the one thing that has surprised you the most doing the work that you're doing?
Wow, that's a really good question. I would say really how uplifting and inspiring this work is, this center is. Like I said, the word Holocaust in our organization title can be can draw people back a bit, and especially as kind of someone in my late 20s, a lot of my peers will be like, oh my gosh, like that must be so hard to work at a Holocaust museum. And I share every time it's just incredibly uplifting. And people, I think what surprises me is how eager learners and community members of all ages across Washington and across the Pacific Northwest and across the nation are so eager to learn if we give the tools and resources to be able to let them do that, and that they are taking these lessons and that they're having these hard conversations, and it's really just our job to be able to give them the best quality content to make that happen and to facilitate those conversations. So I think that really everyone is, so many people that I've talked to, it's their they are just so grateful to be able to have these conversations and that there's a space to have that happen.
Right, right, right. It sounds very rewarding.
It is. I'm very blessed.
Yes, yes. I know the feeling. I presented to an organization in Toronto a month or so ago, and it was all college students. And as a matter of fact, I quoted one of them in our newsletter that came out this morning. But the rewards of speaking to students that are looking for ways to take action, and again, not just students, but anyone. And now she's joining us, and she'll be volunteering with our team. So it's like, oh my gosh, we reached somebody. That's phenomenal. And I think now more than ever, we've learned these lessons. World War One trickled into the 20s, and everything started to kind of take momentum and steam. And then you get to 1933, and Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany, and slowly, it was a long period of time, but the signs were all there. And so I think we have signs right now. We have signs. We have never had a more horrible time for anti-Semitism in this country than we do now and today. Yeah. So the signs are there. It is not the time to be silent. It is the time to actively combat racism, period.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I applaud you for what you're doing. And I think that the Holocaust Center for Humanity in Seattle is such a special place. I can't wait to physically come and visit.
I know.
But you and Jessica and what she's doing with Continuing Generations, which is such a wonderful group of the generations, the children and grandchildren of survivors and so forth. What an opportunity for people to share and continue the conversation and continue to get the awareness out there.
Oh yeah.
So we're on alert, everybody. This is it. These are the signs. And so you have resources like the Holocaust Center, like Ellie, and so many people. It sounds like Paul sounds like a dynamic and wonderful person. And so let's utilize these resources, and let's do everything that we can together collectively to combat racism and
absolutely
educate people.
Yeah. And, like I said, people are hungry to learn more. And so really, I encourage everyone to look at our website to see what we have on there with educational materials. With all of our Lunch and Learn programs are available on YouTube. And so people can watch older recordings. And to also, to reach out to me personally. I don't know if I can share my email when you post on YouTube, but but anyone is welcome to reach out to me or anyone on my team. We welcome questions, comments, feedback, and if anyone's local and they would like a tour of the Holocaust Center, I am more than happy to go down there. We're doing social distance tours, so it's something that seeing the space in person is so powerful. Our museum is comprised of predominantly the archival material of local survivors, so we have a lot of great materials over there for people to learn from.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I want to remind everybody today is Give Big. So please give big to the Holocaust Center for Humanity in Seattle. Thank you, Ellie, for coming on. I'm sorry, I have a tickle in my throat.
No, thank you, Beth.
I'm going to carry my iPad with me to get a little water because I just don't want to keep coughing. Sorry, you guys. Hang on 1 second. Goodness gracious. I normally have water at my desk, and I forgot to refill it. Well, this is live IGTV, right?
Real time.
Uh-huh.
But
okay,
thank you. Yes, thank you so much for for inviting me to be on your program. And it's so, so wonderful to see you again, obviously. And, you know, we had the pleasure of hosting you. So I feel more than happy to obviously promote your work and the important things that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. It was an honor for me to come and be with all of you and to talk and meet everybody with Continuing Generations. We are so thrilled that with the film that I'm making, Would You Hide Me, we're screening our third rough cut this week.
Oh, great.
I know. We're getting there. And so I promise, Ellie, I will invite you to come and see a rough cut in the very not too distant future. But we're getting
I would love that.
to a good place. So please, if you're subscribed to the Holocaust Center for Humanity, please check us out. You go to either bethlane.com or wouldyohideme.com and you can check it out. And we're on all the socials. I think it's at Beth Lane Film and on YouTube at Beth Lane Film. Our guests next week, Jess Burke, and the week after that, Rabbi Steve Lowenstein. The week after that, Max Silverman. So we've got a great lineup for the rest of May. Please do join us. And again, another giant shout out for the Holocaust Center for Humanity today is Give Big. So please give big to the Holocaust Center for Humanity in Seattle, Washington.
Thank you, Beth. You make my job so easy. I don't even have to say any of it.
It is my pleasure. We have to support our work with each other. You know, that's just the way it goes. So have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you next Wednesday.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Bye.